Now, the Clinton campaign put out a statement saying that your latest revision of the economic plan would benefit you at the expense of millions of hardworking folks across the country. I want to give you an opportunity to respond to how Hillary Clinton came out immediately after you released that economic plan yesterday.
Well, there's nothing much they can say. They're raising taxes very substantially, and I'm lowering taxes very substantially, and that's all they're going to say. I mean, they're going to say, oh, gee, it's not going to work, and that's the way politics is. But hers is a major tax increase. Hers is going to drive business out. Hers is going to close up new business. It's going to be more regulations if that's possible because, you know, Maria, one of the things I've seen and one of the things I think I'm most surprised at, and I tell this when people say, what are you most surprised at after you have campaigned so long and hard on this whole situation? I say, well, I'll tell you, one of the things is the fact that we're going with a major tax cut and we're also going with a major reduction of regulations. And going around from business to business, and even homes, but from business to business, they're more excited about getting rid of the regulations than reducing taxes from 35% to 15%. And if you would have told me that 2 years ago, I said I wouldn't believe it. Because one is actual money, and the other is money, but it's sort of amorphous.
Right.
And I will tell you, they're more excited about the regulations than this massive tax cut.
And I think yesterday you made the point that Obama put in place, 3,300 new rules just in the last 12 months.
He has created a major industry.
Yeah.
And he's created an industry for lots of consultants and lots of professionals. And I hate to say this because the lawyers will have to get involved, but lawyers probably are doing very well because of it, because these companies have to hire them to get unentangled from all this web of nonsense that they've put in. So he's created a major industry, and it's a very negative industry because it holds back our country and jobs and growth.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you gave us some real detail yesterday because you actually included new information. You have a new cap on deductions of $100,000 for single filers and $200,000 for couples. And you also talked about trade adding to growth. However, you talked about the TPP and NAFTA as being really tough deals. And you also talked about full expensing for U.S.-based manufacturers.
Right.
You updated this tax plan.
Well, I updated it. I made it very much more detailed from what it was. We really lowered the rates if you think about it. I made it far simpler. I mean, we're bringing the corporate tax from 35 down to 15. And, you know, people are leaving. Companies are leaving the country. And they're also leaving. I heard just before you got on, one of your guests brilliantly said that they really like what I'm doing with the money that's offshore, which is, they say $2.5 trillion. I think it's over $5 trillion. Whatever it is, it's a lot of money. But companies are actually leaving to get their money. They have a lot of money. They're leaving our country so that they can get their money because there's almost no way of bringing it back in. It's very interesting. Not only is the tax too high because they have to give up massive amounts in the neighborhood of 35%. So they have to give 35% up of this money, which they've already paid tax on. But they have to give up an additional 35%. But you know, importantly, the bureaucratic process. I have a very good friend who deals with your show a lot and respects you a lot, and he runs a big company. And he told me that bureaucratically, the paperwork and the effort they have to get this money back into the country is almost not worth it. And he wasn't even referring to the high tax.
Wow.
So it's a disaster.
Look, I know that President Obama only has a couple more months in office, but he's still trying to push TPP, something that you have a major problem with. The president has enlisted, Mr. Trump, Ohio Governor John Kasich to help him push for his Asia-Pacific trade agreement. Kasich is attending a bipartisan meeting today about TPP. Kasich seems to be reaching across the aisle. As president, how do you plan to work with Democrats regarding trade?
Well, I'm going to fight TPP, and I love trade, but I don't like these deals where you get 12 countries and you get all of these different countries, too complicated. You can't get out of those deals. You have to see the arrows. They go from one to another and back here. If somebody defaults, you don't know how to default them. But I like one-on-one. We make individual deals with individual countries. If they don't behave, we terminate them. We give them a 30-day notice, like in business, so we terminate the deal. And before the deal gets officially terminated, they come back and they behave. These deals are ridiculous where you have so many countries. Some are good to us and some are bad to us. Some treat us horribly. With TPP, as you know, China will work to come in through the back door. They're not in the deal, but they're watching us very closely. And if it's good, they want provision. And if it's good, they're going to try and come in through the back door and take advantage of us there, which, of course, we fully expect. They always take advantage of us because we're people that don't know what they're doing. So TPP is a disaster for many reasons, and that's one of them, the complexity. You know, it's 5,000 pages long, and I guarantee you there probably aren't 2 people in our country that read it. We don't know. And the other countries, they've read every word, every paragraph, every comma, and believe me, it's good for others. It's not good for us, and it's not good for our workers. But one of the things that they don't have in TPP is a manipulation clause, a devaluation of money clause. They have, you know, the devaluation, monetary devaluation, is the single greatest tool these countries have been using over the years to just kill us.
Yeah, and you said yesterday that you're going to name China a currency manipulator if it keeps up.
Well, of course they are.
Yeah.
It's currency manipulation, and that's what they do, and that's how they beat us. We make better product than they do. We can't compete. Every time we're about to compete, they devalue their money.
But people are worried about you putting tariffs in place. I mean, are manufacturers going to do business with America if they see high tariffs? Do you consider yourself a free trader?
Yeah,
and are
totally.
we going to see new tariffs in place?
Yeah, absolutely you will, because you have so many people that are cheating. When there's cheating, we have the ultimate weapon. You're going to cheat, that's okay, we're going to put tariffs in. You're going to manipulate your currency so that our manufacturers can't manufacture, we're going to put tariffs in. If you won't let our manufacturers sell to China, as an example, for instance, I have many friends that are manufacturers. They can't even get into China. And when they do, they have to pay massive taxes. I hear numbers, I won't even say them on the phone because they're not even believable, they're so high. In the 70s, okay? In the 70s. That's how crazy it is. But I hear numbers that are so bad, and they can't even get in. And these are great manufacturers. China doesn't want them. So then China says, all right, come over and build a plant. But they don't even want that to happen.
But don't you want American companies to be able to sell to those 1.3 billion people in China?
Absolutely.
I mean, we're 300 million in this country. Our companies want to sell to the 1.3 billion in China.
Absolutely. Sure,
how are they going to do it if China's paying more tariffs?
Well, it's very easy. They're going to do it because they're going to want to do it. Look, they've been sucking us dry. They've been taking the money out of our country for years. We've rebuilt China. I mean, we've rebuilt China, the money they've taken out. And look at our place. We're like living in a third world country. Take a look at our airports and our roadways. You take a look at everything. It's like what's happened to us. And we owe $20 trillion. And by the way, we owe $1.7 trillion to China. Now think of that. They take the money out, they take our jobs, they take our business, and we owe them money. It's like a magic act. We owe them money.